On this discussion segment, it's all about what is happening in Rivers State. Rivers political situation, that is what we want to take a look at right now. And weighing the options given by Nyesom Wike for peace to return to Rivers State. People like asking, has he not done enough? After the bus and the boats, yes, the emergency was declared. But still, people are saying he doesn't want to rest. Has he not done enough? Why must he spell out new conditions for peace to reign? I see my analyst here with me in the studio. Well, Elvis, what do you feel about this? Talking about the Rivers State political situation, analyzing the conditions given by Wike for peace to reign.
Wike wants to strip the elected governor of all powers to act as the chief executive of the state. Because how do you lay out such conditions? You've had your people surround the governor. The man has actually asked them to leave so that he can put the people he feels more comfortable to work with. But you're saying, these conditions they actually undermine democratic norms. You don't do that in a democracy. You are literally saying, look, I'm the godfather here. And you're making it so obvious on national television. You're saying you can never support this guy again. For peace to return, this has to be. You're literally saying, look, openly, I'm using the federal government against this guy. You don't care how this impacts the people of Rivers. So for me, I think that the Rivers people need to understand that this is not in their interest. And they need to rise up to support SIM. Because SIM is not the one suffering. It is the people. They said they've released allocations to the sole administrator. Come on. Are we in democracy? Are we in democracy? For one man, first of all, it is not just about Rivers State. This same man is destroying his own political party and saying, look, I'm not leaving. I'm a member of the political party, but my responsibility is to help the APC win Abuja and Rivers State. And then the Rivers State, the only way you think you can win Rivers State is not to walk from the federal. The only way you think you can win Rivers State is not to come and work with the state government to make Rivers State better. It's to remove a democratically elected governor and then put someone there who you think will help promote your agenda. This is not right. This is not democracy. So for me, the conditions that he is given for peace to return to Rivers State, nobody should comply with those conditions that he has laid out. Oh. Why is he to start? Honestly speaking, Nigeria is a very funny country. Honestly speaking, we are just too funny here. Everything that happens in this country, you start asking yourself, where else in the world will this ever happen, if not Nigeria?
All right, I don't know if Honorable Yava is there. What does he feel? Honorable, if you are there, what do you feel about these conditions given by Nyesom Wike? Okay, fine. What about Honorable Fred? Fred, what do you feel about this particular condition given by Wike for peace to reign in Rivers?
Well, thank you so much. Like I always say, I mentioned before that in the world of men, in the world of politics, there are gatekeepers, and when you ignore them, you actually run into avoidable crisis. The condition that Wike gave is not a condition that cannot be, looked into and be accommodated, in the sense that the politics is built on loyalty and structures. And, the weakest loyalists who campaign, mobilize resources, defended PDP mandate, deserve protection from political witch hunt. I call it political witch hunt because of what it is. Weakest stance reinforce the principle that loyalty and dedication to the cause must be honored. Because you can't just, allow a structure that brought you into a system, at the end, you just discard it. It doesn't work like that. Same Fubara on its own wouldn't have been able to emerge as a candidate, not as a governor, as even a candidate. And he knows this. So Wike did not ask for much. Just let the status quo, let the political structure that brought you in, let them be maintained. But you started a different ball in your own because you are now becoming a government. I think it cannot stand. Let us look into. Let's remove emotion, because when we are too emotional about what Wike demands and what he demands and what he demands, we will miss it. Wike is one person that you can talk about everywhere. It means that he's a very important personality when it comes to rivers. Among all the people you have mentioned, Wike will say this is going to happen, and it happens. What is trend? So I want to say that the bringing the state of emergency to place by the president also is a way of avoiding bloodshed and total anarchy in the rivers, because we don't need that now. We don't need any war in any part of this country. And if we have left that unchecked by the president, by now maybe there would have been curfew in River State. So for me, there is nothing that is too much for peace sake. There's no condition that is too much for peace. As long as that condition doesn't involve taking somebody's life, it can be negotiated. When you say no to Wike's condition, it means that you are not even, you yourself, you are not ready for peace. But to the people of Rivers, I will urge them not to allow themselves to be experimented upon, because once they allow that, they are the ones to lose. So that is how I see it. Wike is a reasonable politician who wants the best for the people of River State, and this should be respected.
All
His
right.
maturity for this to be respected, and it should be respected.
Okay, thank you so much. He said there's no price too much to pay for peace. All right, commenting on dissent because of time factor. He said, ordinarily speaking, Fubara would have been a candidate.
That's the
right
problem-
now,
that's the problem we
stand.
have.
Okay.
That's the problem we have. When you have to rely on political godfathers to get elected, that is a problem. You know, when we are now looking at this problem, these challenges as norms, we are having bigger problems. Let me quickly cite an example. In America, when Donald Trump lost his election, his last election in 2020, he did not go house to sleep. The guy kept holding rallies, campaigning, campaign style rallies.
Yeah.
Because of course, maybe you can't call them campaign, but campaign style rallies, town halls, a lot of all that were going on throughout those 4 years. He didn't rest. But in Nigeria, you see them running from one godfather to another, looking for who is going to anoint them to get elected.
They did the anointing.
And so when the moment you get anointed and you get elected, you have to now be submissive to the one who anointed you. In this case, Wike to sin. So he got anointed to be governor, and then he became governor. He wanted to change it. And then someone is saying that no price is too high to pay for peace. But I believe that there could be peace to strength. That you don't have to now submit your dignity, submit your everything that makes you a man for the purpose of peace. How do you call that peace when you have to now be a governor and you are not the governor? So someone is governing by proxy and you are now a figurehead in the state. If you have been elected by the people, you should be allowed to make decisions for the people. That is what democracy is about. In other countries, that's why I said this only happens in Nigeria, when we sugarcoat illegality. How do you come to perpetuate, to use illegality, to install illegality or remove legality? You are in Abuja, you are saying, look, I made this man governor, and because the man is governing the state the way he chooses, he has to be removed. Because he's not governing the state the way I want him to govern the state. In other words, the governor ought to be there as a prefect.
All right.
And that is wrong.
All right, not to worry, we'll continue the discussion later because our time is up. Our time is totally up. You're making a very strong point, while on the Friday also is making also a very strong point. But viewers, this is what we'll call it to up to today's edition of This Morning on ITV. Honorable Frank, thank you so much for being a part of this show. Honorable Yehari, I appreciate you for taking out time to join us. And of course, Elvis Kelly, thank you so much. We'll do it again some other time. Bye for now.